What's up, y'all? Back at it one more time with a sit down with Mark. First episode coming out in the year of 2025. I got a chance to interview a believer of strong faith, a football coach, a health coach, Miss Terri Mims Bryant, straight out of Lexington, Kentucky. Y'all, I enjoyed this interview. She gave a lot of advice. Ask y'all, man, to support women in sports. Women's sports don't get a lot of attention, man. Just support, show love, whatever you can do, donate. Let's help these women out as much as we can. Ask y'all to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about this interview. Anybody want to be interviewed, just DM me and we can go from there. Y'all check this out. Talk about who Coach Bryant is and how you end up falling in love with such a male dominant sport like football.
I started off just playing in the park or in the backyard with my cousins and then they had me playing and I've always been athletic. My freshman year in high school, we played powder puff football. I caught an interception, I tore my ACL, but I loved the thrill of the game at that particular time. Unfortunately, I was at an age where, of course, they didn't allow women to play football at that time.
Right,
And then I found out that Emmett Smith was a cousin or a family member, some related some type of a way.
right.
And so I started following him. Um, and so that's how I became like a Dallas Cowboys fan. So of course, just watching the game on TV, I just continued to fall in love with the game, just watching it on TV. And then um I got remarried and my husband was a football coach, but I already fell in love with the game prior to that. So to me, you know,
Right.
dating a football coach was just like right up my alley.
Right.
So and it kind of worked for us because when we started dating, I was coaching basketball and I was coaching track. So we both were coaches.
Yeah.
So we were both, in a realm where
It
we
was
felt
heavy
like
in the
we can
family.
kind of yeah, we can kind of understand each other's time constraints and our schedules and that
Mhm.
type of
It
stuff.
just
And
comes
it
together.
just, yeah, it just worked.
Yeah.
It's been
Oh,
living the dream.
but I know you said you was a Cowboy fan. Do you feel some type of way with them two teams in the NFC in the playoffs right now?
Oh, no, 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 not at all. Not at all. Mm-mm. I hope I hope the NFC wins, right? And
Yeah.
so I hope the Eagles or the I want to still call them the Redskins,
They need
the
to be
Commanders, the Washington Commanders. I hope both of them make it all the way. I hope, I don't know who's going to win it. I hope one of them wins the division
yeah,
and I hope one of them goes to the Super Bowl to
yeah,
represent the division.
yeah. I like Daniels. I
I
like
like
Daniels.
Daniels.
I do.
And
Uh,
of course, how do you not like Jalen Hurts? Like,
yeah, yeah.
like
Uh,
I don't know how you can not like either one of them.
right,
Like they're ballers.
right, right. Um, Talk about your podcast, Hits and Heels.
Hits and Heels. So Hits and Heels was birthed because I had a friend of mine that um she was also coaching middle school. So I coach middle school football. And she was coaching middle school. A mutual friend kind of put us together and connected us. Our conversations were really, really deep because we really couldn't talk to any of the females about what we were going through and our journey with coaching football. And she just made a comment about it sounds like a podcast. And so she ended up setting everything up into a podcast. Then maybe about a month into right after we launched, she got her dream job with an HBCU where she was like the director of like marketing and strategic
Mm.
something or whatever. It was like her dream job. And so then I kind of had to just take it over for on my own. And so it's been nice. So the main thing with Hits and Heels is I get to talk from a female perspective about football,
Mm-hmm.
but I also highlight a lot of women's sports because of course a lot of women's sports I think don't get the
Don't get enough attention.
yeah, they don't get the
NBA,
attention that they
don't get enough
need.
attention,
Yes,
marketability,
absolutely right.
all that.
But and with me being a former player, I also like highlighting like legends, like people that you might not have heard of or athletes that
Don't really get that attention. Yeah.
yeah, they're
No,
no
that's
longer in the
yeah,
spotlight, and
yeah,
I like to kinda, like, revive them and, kinda give them that notoriety and put them back in the spotlight and to highlight them again.
right.
I had probably one of my favorite guests last night was Coach his book is right here, Coach, Holloway. He's presently the head track coach at the University of Florida. He has 14 national championships,
Oh, mm, you
and
know
he's
what's
won
it?
the last 3.
Yeah,
Like,
you know what he doing,
nobody is talking about that.
right? Yeah,
Nobody is talking about that. So, so I made sure that he was on my podcast. And I was honored that he even had the time to even come on my podcast. So I've had Olympians on my podcast. I've had you know, NBA legends like Kenny Walker was one of my favorite people on, of course we're in Kentucky. So of course Kenny's local and
yeah,
good friends with my husband. So, lots of Kentucky greats that I'm able to get on. And luckily I live here and I'm connected with a lot of people where I can get those type of legends. And then I also am on the board of we created our own Hall of Fame here in Lexington because I
mhm,
live in Lexington, Kentucky.
yeah.
We created our own African American Sports Hall of Fame because a lot of athletes were not getting
The exposure,
the exposure or like the Kentucky Hall of Fame or the KSAA Hall of Fame. They should be in those Hall of Fames, but they're not. And actually, after we put them in our Hall of Fame, then other big Hall of Fame started putting them in. Like we have a coach that we put in our Hall of Fame. He was the very first Black baseball player at Vanderbilt University,
right?
and he also has a ring with the New York Yankees. He was a scout with the Yankees. And I'm not thinking like, how the heck was he not already in
Yeah, the Hall of Fame somewhere.
in a Hall of Fame somewhere, right? So that's a perfect example. But after we put him in ours, then again, he was brought to somebody's attention, and then right after we inducted him into our Hall of Fame, Vanderbilt finally did induct him in their Hall of Fame. So it's crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of Kentucky legends, have you met Tubby Smith?
I have not met Tubby Smith, but I have met um Bernadette Maddox,
Yeah,
who was the first woman to coach in NCAA.
yeah. With all you got going on, how do you find time to balance personal life alongside all your creative stuff? Just where do you find that balance?
You just gotta prioritize. I mean, luckily now we're empty nesters now. So both of our children are grown. So that helps, that we're not having to, you know, pick them up and take care of them and all that type of stuff. Right now is the season where my husband is coaching baseball and I'm getting ready to start coaching track. So we're kind of going two different places.
Hmm.
During football season, we're both coaching together. So I don't know,
Yeah,
it just works. Like right now, he's at baseball practice. So
yeah,
now I get to have my alone time, or I get to have y- my opportunities like this to be able to schedule Zooms and that type. So I schedule it when I know that he's doing what he needs to do. As long as it's not a then it's easier once football season is over with because there's nothing on TV after that.
is your son playing anything outside of football?
He was a baseball player. He probably could have been a dual sport. Well, he wanted to be a dual sport, but it was very difficult to because you had spring ball in
Hmm.
during that time, and then he started in January. He didn't wait, so he had to wait a whole semester in order to play baseball. But if he would have came in the fall, I think he would have been had the opportunity, maybe. But as a true freshman,
Yeah,
he came in and hit the ground running. So I think if he would have been like a bench player
yeah,
and not getting a lot of playing time, I think he would have had an opportunity to do both in college. But because he came in hitting the ground running,
yeah,
he started from day one.
yeah. Talk about the best advice you have been given.
Just period.
Yeah,
best advice that I've been given is to not listen to anybody else's opinion.
Preach.
It is other people's opinion is none of my business. Or until somebody is paying me for unless their opinion pays my bills,
Yeah, there you go.
I could care
There
less
you go.
about what anybody thinks.
There you go. Yep. I know how that feel. That was one of my issues when I first started worrying about what somebody gonna say. Somebody you
Mhm.
gonna miss a blessing doing that.
Yes,
Miss out on a lot worrying about what other people think. That ain't thinking about
absolutely.
you. Um,
Mhm.
and say everybody has their 3 to 5 year span. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. In fact, you know what? I'm very ambitious right now. In 5 years, I want my podcast to be like the premier. I want it to be up there like with the pivot
Yeah,
and
you on Times Square.
I mean, I want it to be up there only because it's different from what everybody else's
Yeah,
podcast is.
understandable.
And I think I'm bringing something to the market that is needed. Again, there's no females that's really coaching football. I mean, there's a handful, right? It's not like there's a lot. So I just think I bring a different that perspective, and then I love again just highlighting. Um, everybody's not highlighting like everybody wants to talk about who's popular now.
Yeah,
I love bringing back legends.
yeah.
And so I just
Once
think
you
that
don't, that's the thing. Everybody is so. It's like everybody's wanting to do the same thing. Is somebody gonna be different?
right, and I just want to
Step
be
out of the box,
yes,
be different. Please, where everybody's so original, everybody want to do the same thing. Can somebody come to the table with something different?
it's something different,
And
right?
it's
And
you.
so and I think because I'm a female coach, I'm not, of course I'm not getting a lot of the notoriety, but I just feel it in my spirit that is as long as I continue to stay the course and stay consistent. I mean, I'm like 115 episodes in. I don't know anything about the marketing. I don't know anything about SEO and all the behind
Yeah,
the scenes stuff,
you
but I'm
don't,
in the
don't feel bad.
process
I'm in the
of
same boat.
I'm gonna get it. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
get it to that point to where, the behind the scenes stuff gets taken care of, and then all
right.
that. I think it'll go from there. You know who's another one of my guests that I brought that I have on my podcast that a lot of people have probably forgotten about is did you ever watch American Gladiators back in the day?
I did. I
You
ain't
remember
understand it,
Jazz?
but yeah, the woman. Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
I've had her on my podcast. She
yeah.
hasn't been on in, again, she did my podcast and she hadn't did an interview in like over 20 years. And so when I tell you she looks absolutely fantastic, you will be like amazed just how great she looks at 62 years old.
Wow, in shape and all.
Yes. And again, she's from Lexington, and so we inducted her into our Hall of Fame, and she was just so grateful because she was like, "I thought everybody forgot about me."
And I really think that's dope with your creation of your Hall of Fame. Just give people their flowers while they living.
Yes,
Give people their flowers while they living. And
and that is exactly why I created it.
yeah, yeah. And let people know we ain't forgot about
We haven't forgot about you,
Yeah,
especially your community.
yeah. We ain't forgot about you. We are
Yeah.
16 days into 2025. And I know you got, like you said, you got a lot going on. What's in store for 2025?
Okay, so I just got off the phone the other day where we're gonna start a girls flag league here. Um, Girls flag football is the fastest growing sport for girls right now, and I am going to spearhead for the state of Kentucky. Um, I want it to become a sanctioned sport for high school.
Yeah,
We now have two colleges in Kentucky that now carry girls flag football as a sport, and you can get a scholarship at it. And so, so that's the thing. I mean, that, and I want to be like the go-to person for for college coaches for the state of Kentucky. Like I want to be like Like I want Dion and Michael Vick
Yeah,
and Deshaun's. I want
yeah,
Bill Belichick calling me. I want college coaches calling me
yeah.
and being like, Terry, tell me about such and such this player. Tell me about this player. I want to be like that type of person.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just want to be like the number one sports guru
At least for
or
women,
resource
anyway.
in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
In the state of
And
Kentucky.
then
Yeah,
for
because
women
there's not
too,
a
because
lot.
y'all don't get a lot. Y'all don't get a lot of exposure.
There's not a lot going on here besides the University of Kentucky. And
Mhm.
the University of Kentucky, of course, the basketball right now is
Yeah.
booming. Both our women's and our men's team both are the only team that's ranked 12th in the
Yeah.
nation right now. So they're doing good. Both brand new coaches.
Yeah.
I'm tired of everybody talking about wanting to fire our football coach, but we absolutely love Coach Stoops and the staff that we have there. We're having a great time with my son playing. We didn't have a good season, but the record wasn't a reflection of how good they are. Because you got to think we're in the SEC.
Yeah.
We should have beat Georgia. We should have beat Texas, and we
Yeah.
should have beat Tennessee. Three of the teams that
Yeah.
went to
Top to
the
the
the top 12.
CFP.
Yes, we
Mm-hmm.
should have beat them. And we were only just a couple of plays away from beating them. And if that would have, even if we'd have won that first one
Especially
against Georgia,
Georgia.
where I felt like we
Yeah.
got feel like
Especially
we
the
got
Georgia
cheated.
game. Yeah.
Yes, I felt like we got cheated that game when they called back that interception.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that was my son that had that blitz
Yeah.
that prevented that touchdown when they were in the red zone. That was my son. That was the blitz that hit that blitz and prevented a touchdown. So that was just a great game, and that could have just went either way. And I think that it would have changed a lot of the trajectory of the game had they given us that game. And I felt like we got cheated out of it, but it is what it
It
is.
is what it is. Mr. Bryant, I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
I
Thank you so
definitely
much for
appreciate
having me.
it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Um, um, yeah, we're gonna have to definitely keep in touch. I do wanna, if it's possible, I do want to interview your kid. If he had, what I'm saying, if he got time, because I know you got a lot. I know he got a lot going on. You got a lot going on.
Got a
But
lot.
yeah,
Yeah, he's a
um,
4.0 student. Yes.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So he definitely got a lot going on. But we definitely got to keep in touch. We definitely got to keep in
Please.
touch. I am so glad we had a chance to connect, and thank Miss Monique for it too. Cause
Yeah,
yeah,
that's my girl.
yeah, yeah,
Hey, so I'm in her magazine right here.
yeah.
Sit right here.
She told me I had to interview her, and that's how I ended up finding about
Yeah, this is her magazine, and I'm in
yeah.
I'm in featured in this version of her magazine.
Okay, okay. Well, we gonna stay in touch.
We will. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Mark.
All right. You have a good night.
You too.